installation of SwitchBot Lock Pro. Step 1 is to utilize the tape to go to the other side of your door and tape it down. Help keep things in place. You can do the same thing with blue painter's tape, but it's nice that they provide it. Next step is to remove the interior of your lock. So you're gonna have 2 screws that you gotta take off. Interior is being kept in place by that tape, and I have removed the locking mechanism. Next step is to install the mounting plate or mounting bracket. To do this, you're going to have to use one of the sets of screws that came with the SwitchBot. You're gonna take your existing screw and line them up to see which one is closer. So for me, the fat one is more aligned with this one, slightly shorter, but the skinny one here is slightly longer. So we're gonna go with the fat one first and see how that goes. And we'll do this around the camera, hopefully. That one goes there, that one goes there. This is why you have the tape in place, so that while you're pushing on this, you don't have to be holding the door open. And then, for good measure, kind of get yourself a level, make sure that everything looks okay before tightening it down. Okay, that's now tight in place. Be sure not to over tighten as I was doing, because I was actually pinching the sides there in. So if you see it start to bow, stop. Loosen up a little bit. Once everything is tightened down, you're gonna take your 3, which aren't focusing right now, lugs we'll call them. And what they do is, if we bring our camera in a little closer here, each of these has a unique shape. One matches that. So you're gonna find the one that matches your door. So in my case, it's actually number 1 here, because it has the slit. So I would put that over the bit in my door and then back this out. Next step is to line everything up and actually get your lock in place. I will admit, I spent a little more time on this than I wanted to and didn't film it. I found if you line things up at the bottom here and then slip the top up, then you'll be okay. And from here you can check. Make sure you can see right there that the lock is in place. Once positioned and in place, you're going to use these itty bitty screws and the Allen wrench to lock it in. You have 2 on either side, and thankfully they give you a lot of extras because you may lose some. After you get your screws in place on both sides, before that you make sure that this actually turns. But once you're done with that, you can peel off the tape because you don't need it. Next step is placing the magnet, but mine's a little far, so we're going to see if this works. You're going to make sure that you do the side that has the line on it, and you're going to want to face it which seems kind of far. But we'll find out. That would complete the installation of the SwitchBot Lock Pro. Next, we move on to setup of the Lock Pro. Open up your SwitchBot app, select the plus sign, add a device, come down to Locks, Lock Pro. The app wants us to remove this right here. So we take the front plate off, pull this, we heard a beep, it's blinking now, and according to this, the app, once we start seeing the blue, like it's doing, we click continue. And now, it's gonna try and pair itself. And it paired, but there's a firmware, so we're gonna update the firmware and let that do its thing. You can see it's blinking in the background. Set upgrade successful, and it's blinking now. We're gonna hit finish. Wants us to give it a name. We're gonna be super fancy and call it SwitchBot Lock Pro. And it wants me to pick a room. I have meters set up for environmental in the basement and upstairs, so I don't have one for my main floor. So I'm gonna make a new room, and we're gonna call it living room and select next. And it has been added. Now I can just use this over Bluetooth, or I can enable cloud services if you have a SwitchBot hub, which I do. It has now been added to my Alexa, and it's letting me know the SwitchBot door has been locked. And if you hadn't installed this already, you can walk through the installation guide right here. In my case, I've already done this, so I'm gonna say it's already installed. So now it's telling me to make sure that the door is in the lock position, which it is. I'm going to select next. Now I'm going to move it to the unlock position as requested, and then select next. All right, so this is trying to get the sensor to work, I think. But if you're not sure, they've got a video. You tap it and you can see it. So it wants you to open the door, lock it, and then hit next. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to open the door, lock it, and then hit next. So it wants me to have it ajar, locked. We're going to test the unlock feature. It unlocked. Now we're going to test the lock feature. And that's the lock. Now we're going to say finished. You can set up home sharing, but I'm going to select no, I'm not going to do this. And that was setup of the SwitchBot Lock Pro.